Hello and thank you for watching my video. This is part 2 in the Road to a Legendary series looking at the Gift of Fortune, which is needed to create your legendary weapon. And this is one of the, probably the most expensive, or one of the most expensive parts, rivaling that of the precursor. And the first thing we're going to look at, as you can see here, is the Mystic Clover. You actually need 77 Mystic Clovers to make the Gift of Fortune. And this is, sort of, as you can see, there's a few other people that are actually talking about the Mystic Clovers, but this can be a bit of a long process to actually get the Mystic Clovers. As you can see, I've got some set up. I'm going to show you how to actually do it, as somebody else has also got a lot of Mystic Clovers. You can get Mystic Clovers through PvP, through the reward track. I actually got, I've received around 20 odd, or 25 odd, but you can use crystals instead of the sort of the Philosopher's Stones. You can see what I've got here. This is just doing one at a time, and you only get a chance at a sort of Mystic Clover, or you get something else. So you can see here, it took me 2 goes to get the Mystic Clover. But if you want to do 10 at a time, instead of the Mystic, the Philosopher's Stones, you use crystals. Obviously, it costs a little bit more, and it actually takes 10 obsidian shards, 10 mystic coins, and 10 ectos at a time. But you can see now I've got 80 Mystic Clovers ready for my next legendary. So the next stage, we also have 250 globs of ectoplasm. That's obviously pretty standard to get. Most people know how to get that. You can salvage from rares, or you can just purchase from the trading post. But I tend to get most of mine through salvaging rares, using Mystic Forge kits, because it tends to give you a higher rate. So that's the first 2 parts of this gift. Now come the harder parts. The Gift of Magic, probably the most expensive part to get. You can see how much you actually need: 250 vials of blood, or powerful venom sacs, elaborate totems, and piles of crystalline dust. This is going to take you a long time to get. If you don't bother, then you just go for it. The crystalline dust you can get from salvaging ectos. I'd recommend using a decent salvage kit to do this, and you'd actually get a lot of piles of crystalline dust. Obviously, the way I did it just there, it didn't turn out too effective, but yeah. So the powerful blood, they're worth quite a substantial amount of money, as are most of them. The venom sacs are worth a little bit less. So we come on to the Gift of Might, which is the other 4 tier 6 sort of materials: Vicious Fang, Armored Scale, Vicious Claw, and Ancient Bone. Again, all expensive items to acquire, and the only real way that people tend to get them is through farming. Going to ore, there used to be a very good farm there, be it by doing lots of the events there, is be able to get the drops from sort of moldy bags. But you can see 1 vial of blood is a 52 silver. To get a stack is over 138 gold, just for a quarter of this gift here. If we look at the other side, they're all pretty around the 35 to 40 silver mark, apart from the powerful blood and obviously the crystalline dust, which is around 16 silver or so, but that sort of fluctuates depending on the price of ectos as well. So these are the most expensive components of this legendary. I mean, if we ignore the precursor, the fact it takes to to actually craft this gift, I tend to sort of leave it a little bit of time before actually going for these materials. I let build them up and up and up. I never sell these materials. But we can see here 250 armored scales. Again, that's 94 gold if you're going to buy the whole stack. And so, I mean, to get these 2 gifts alone, you're talking almost a sort of 700 to 800 gold, I'd imagine. It's a substantial investment to take out, to do this part of the legendary. And, it does take a long while and a substantial investment. So you can see here, I'm just going through. These are the figures correct as of the early part of March 2015. So if you're watching this in the future, the prices may have changed, obviously with the ectos fluctuating, because they're now at 33 silver. Again, if you wanted to buy a stack, obviously I've already got a stack in my inventory, that would cost you 83 gold. So again, that's a pretty substantial investment. That's for the earlier stage. And so this is one of the more expensive gifts in Guild Wars 2 to actually acquire. This is why the legendaries cost so damn much. And it takes you a long time. That's how a legendary should be. So Apart from farming, you know, sort of the higher end areas, how else can you acquire these tier 6 materials? Well, for me, the quickest way is through the laurel vendor. If you go to the laurel vendor, go to the heavy crafting bag, you see I've got around 20 laurels left now. So I've bought 4 bags. You get 3 sort of tier 6 materials with each bag. And if you imagine that, you know, the powerful blood there, that's 50 silver. I'd say each laurel spent, this is probably the most efficient way to earn money through laurels. I mentioned it in my previous video on how to make money through laurels. By buying tier 6 bags and then opening them, you would probably make, on average, 1 gold per laurel. That's how you should look at it. 1 gold per laurel by opening up these tier 6 bags. You know, you could be looking at it as a investment by selling them, or you could look at them by saying I'm saving myself a gold. There is another way to acquire these tier 6 materials. Go down to tier 5. You can see here I've got several materials. You can use them by Mystic Forge, by putting them in the Mystic Forge. I'm just going to show you here the vial of powerful blood. You can use 50 vials of powerful blood, 1 vial of powerful blood, sorry, I meant potent, 50 vials of potent blood, 1 vial of powerful blood, 5 crystalline dust, and 5 philosopher's stones. Whether it's worth it or not depends on the price fluctuations. So please check on the trading post to see if it's worthwhile. Usually it isn't. I think that for most of them, particularly like the venom sacks, it's definitely not. But blood can be, because obviously it's worth 50 silver, and you know it's substantial investment. I don't personally. I've never done it that way. So this is the Gift of Fortune. It is a very expensive part of the legendary. I'm hoping that you guys have looked at this and seen sort of some different ways on how, you know, what you should be saving up for if you haven't gone for a legendary. You know, why is it so expensive? What is, you know, what should you be looking out for? And I think, guys, if you are keen, if you do want to know sort of more, I'm just giving a bit of an overview of how to get the legendary. If you are looking at wanting me to do a more in-depth looking at how you get individual specific items, please let me know in the comments and I'll happily do a follow-up video. Thanks for watching, catch you on the next one.